Good morning. You are absolutely right. We all find ourselves in that scenario. Like you mentioned, Erica, whether it's at home or whether you're at work, it can be a difficult conversation, but it doesn't have to be. And that is the whole point of Braver Angels Connecticut, which is the organization we are talking about here. And here's the expert on the whole thing, the co-chair here, Chris Clouet. Thank you so much for first of all, for waking up with us here at 6:30 in the morning.
Well, thank you for inviting us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now tell us a little bit about Braver Angels Connecticut. You said it was founded here in our state about 3 years ago.
Yes, it's part of a national organization, and we realize that the country is more and more polarized, and we're volunteers, and we just said, look, we have to do something about it. We can't just complain. And so we get together, we put on events, we have debates, we have workshops. Our workshops are on depolarizing, essentially, and we have some really very good experts nationally that come and work with us. And we just find it's time to listen to each other, to really listen to each other, and find out that we don't always have to demonize each other when we disagree. Let's agree that we can talk to each other and find common ground. We all want clean air, we all want clean water. There are places that we can do things together and make a difference in our communities.
Are you noticing that it is making a difference in our state so far since you founded it 3 years ago?
It's a slow process because there's a lot of antipathy and anger in our society towards people that think differently, and that's where we have to get together and say, look, that's part of democracy. That's what it means to be a patriot and to love your country. That you work together and make democracy work.
All right, so let's get to some tips here. When you are at the dinner table and there is that polarity that comes up, people start fighting with one another. First of all, how do you make sure that that doesn't even happen, that there is no arguing?
Well, that's difficult, but we've done some things with colleges, for instance, here in Connecticut, where when kids are getting ready to go home for Thanksgiving, for instance, they're a little worried about exactly what you're describing. And so we talk about, de-escalating, listening to each other, and then agreeing that maybe certain topics we don't have to have, a discussion or argument over the dinner table. Maybe there's a place for that afterwards if we have to have those kinds of disagreements. But we try and get away from disagreements and find common ground.
Can you leave us with just a couple of words that you usually say to someone in that scenario where you feel like maybe you can't find that common ground and it's time to step away? What should somebody say in that moment?
Well, ask the person to define what they're saying and listen to them and give them an opportunity to really describe what they're talking about and listen for where you can find common ground.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Obviously, we have a lot more to discuss here. We need some more tips and tricks from Chris because the election is just a month away. So those conversations are probably going to be happening more often. Maybe they'll get a little more heated. We'll help you make sure that doesn't happen. So join us in the next hour. We'll have more advice from Chris as well. For now, though, we are live here in New London. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News.